Good evening. Prior to the beginning of tonight's meeting, we've got a Albert Cameron student who would like to share a reflection with us. So I'd invite Kylie Johnson up to the podium, and if you please stand. Following the reflection, Mr. Sonny Savoy will lead us in pledge.
Everyone, please bow your heads. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcomes of our school events, and for all our staff members, both the teaching and support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. That was so
Kylie, I'd like to thank you for that reflection and wish you the best of luck as you complete your 8th grade year at Albert Cameron in anticipation of going to Destrehan. Kylie runs track. She's also the treasurer at Beta Club and is consistently on the honor roll at Cameron and leading by example. So Kylie, thank you so much for what you're doing, for your leadership. Okay, I'd like to call St. Charles Parish School Board meeting for October 23rd, 2019 to order. Madam Secretary, let the record show that all board members are in attendance, along with our superintendent, Dr. Ken Ortling, and our executive secretary, Ms. Shelley Babineau. Okay, first item on the agenda is 2.01 Educational Diagnosticians Month Proclamation. I'd like to ask Ms. Bernard if she would read that, please.
It would be my pleasure. Educational Diagnosticians Month Proclamation. Whereas children have a natural desire and propensity to learn, and it is imperative to adequately support the needs of children and youth, and whereas children have a right to a high-quality education that meets their individual needs, and whereas children's mental health is closely linked to their successful learning and development, and schools must apply sound psychological principles to instruction and learning, cultivate children's intellectual, social, and emotional development, and promote prevention and early intervention. And whereas schools must ensure safe, healthy environments for all children and be able to recognize and respond to their emotional, psychological, diagnostic needs, including those caused by a crisis. And whereas educational diagnosticians are specially trained to help parents and educators identify and reduce risk factors, create effective, caring schools, access helpful community resources, and implement research-driven prevention and intervention strategies to foster healthy child development and academic success. And whereas during Louisiana Educational Diagnosticians Month, we recognize the vital role that educational diagnosticians play in the personal and academic development of Louisiana's children. Now therefore, be it resolved that we, the members of the St. Charles Parish School Board, hereby proclaim October 2019 as Louisiana Educational Diagnosticians Month in St. Charles Parish Public Schools. I move we accept this proclamation.
Second.
Got a motion by Mrs. Bernard, second by Mr. Suffren. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, this time I'd like to call on the superintendent to
Thank you.
make a comment.
The educational diagnosticians of St. Charles Parish Public Schools serve many vital roles that ultimately support our students on a day-to-day basis. Their expertise and experience allow them to serve as strong resources for school personnel. Thank you, diagnosticians, for being such an integral part of our school system as you meet the challenges of preparing each student for their future. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ms. Paulette Fairchild to come up and recognize our education diagnosticians who are in attendance tonight.
Good evening, Superintendent, board members. On behalf of Mrs. Guillory, our Special Education Director, and myself, I would like to introduce to you the educational diagnosticians of St. Charles Parish. We have two here tonight. Miss Donna Rudolph, please stand. And Lacey Jones. Rebecca LeBlanc and Tiffany Palermo could not be with us tonight because they had family engagements. But I would just like to say a special thanks to all of the educational diagnosticians for all of the support, again, that they give to our students, teachers, and administrators. They are a great asset to our district, and their hard work does not go unnoticed. Thank you.
Any other board discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, item 2.01 passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, 2.02, Red Ribbon Week Proclamation. I'd ask Mr. Smith if you would read that for me, please.
Thank you, Dr. Red Ribbon Week Proclamation. Whereas all children in St. Charles Parish are entitled to attend a school free of drugs and violence, and whereas all committed to nurturing the full potential of St. Charles Parish youth, and whereas the Department of Education and statewide drug-free schools and communities personnel believe in and strive for a school environment free of drugs and violence, and whereas all citizens of St. Charles Parish join with the teachers, administrators, and parish and state officials in encouraging our youth to become productive citizens and to maintain healthy lifestyles. Now therefore be it resolved that the St. Charles Parish School Board does hereby support October 23rd through the 31st, 2019 as Red Ribbon Week, and encourages its school officials to participate in drug awareness activities and be strongly committed to drug-free healthy lifestyles. And be it further resolved that the St. Charles Parish School Board encourages all the students in St. Charles Parish to pledge to send a message, stay drug-free. I move approval.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Robichaud. Is there any discussion by the board? Hearing none, Dr. Ortling.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since its beginning in 1985, Red Ribbon Week has touched the lives of millions of people around the world. I would like to personally thank our schools, counselors, and sponsors for their commitment to raising awareness of the killing and destruction caused by drugs in America. I'd like to invite Ms. Charmaine Williams, Director of Child Welfare and Attendance, to say a few words about Red Ribbon Week.
Good evening,
Good evening.
and thank you, board members and superintendent, for accepting the 2019 Red Ribbon Week Proclamation. I would like to read a brief history of Red Ribbon Week. As a response to the murder of Enrique Kiki Camarino on February 7, 1985, the first Red Ribbon Week took place in 1988 as an 8-day celebration proclaimed by Congress of the United States. Camarino was a 37-year-old Drug Enforcement Administration undercover agent. No other single drug prevention movement in history has impacted as many lives in such a positive way. Unfortunately, and most currently, the United States is in the midst of an opioid epidemic, seeing a shocking increase in overdoses and death from these highly addictive substances. In 2015, 58% of 12th grade students in the United States reported trying the deadly opioid heroin. It is estimated that 3.8 million Americans ages 12 and older are currently misusing prescription opioids. Subsequently, Red Ribbon Week campaigns are being used to introduce students to the widespread and destructive crisis and the impact of opioids on their bodies. At this time, again, I would like to say thank you for accepting the 2019 Red Ribbon Week proclamation. And I'd like to acknowledge, in observance of Red Ribbon Week, on behalf of our schools, the following individuals: Dr. Alice Cryer Sumler, Miss Bonnie Mays, and these are our counselors: Stephanie McDougall, Amanda Bourgeois, Miss Diana Burrell, Karen Pethe, Megan Dwyer, Shannon Salisbury, Lawana Davis, and we also have with us Destrehan High School Student of the Year, Kari Appleberry. Again, thank you so much, and at this time, I'll give bracelets, if I may, to the board members and superintendent.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a vote, please. Madam Secretary, that motion passes. Next item on the agenda is 2.03, National Principals Month Proclamation. And I ask Mr. Savoy if he would read that for me, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Whereas October 2019 is the National Principals Month in coordination with the efforts of the National Association of Elementary School Principals, the American Federation of School Administrators, and the National Association of Secondary School Principals, working with the U.S. Congress to designate National Principals Month and a resolution thereof. Whereas the principals are expected to be educational visionaries, instructional leaders, assessment experts, disciplinarians, community builders, public relations experts, budget analysts, facility managers, special programs administrators, and guardians of various legal, contractual, and policy mandates and initiatives, as well as being entrusted with the education and development of young people, the most valuable resource. And whereas principals set the academic tone for their schools and work collaboratively with teachers to develop and maintain high curriculum standards, develop mission statements, and set performance goals and objectives for schools to achieve educational excellence. And whereas the St. Charles Parish School Board honors such exemplary elementary and secondary level public education leaders committed to serving students from pre-kindergarten to grade 12 in their profession. And whereas the St. Charles Parish School Board recognizes the outstanding elementary, middle, and high school principals who have succeeded in providing high-quality learning opportunities for students, as well as their exemplary contributions to the profession. And whereas to honor and recognize the contribution to all school principals and assistant principals at all grade levels in ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that in honor of the service of all elementary, middle level, and high school principals, and to recognize the importance of their school leadership so that every child as access to a high-quality education. And to celebrate school leader accomplishments, the month of October 2019 is hereby designated St. Charles Parish to be National Principals Month, and I move for its adoption.
Second?
Got a motion by Mrs. Savoy, second by Mrs. Bernard. Is there any discussion of the board? Okay, hearing none. Dr. Orland?
Thank you, Mr. President. They say that leadership is second only to classroom instruction among all school-related factors that contribute to what a student learns at school. Principals are the key to each school's success and ultimately each student's success. Their impact on the lives of each and every one of our students, schools, and community is immeasurable. I would like to personally thank each of our principals in attendance tonight and those who are unable to attend tonight for their endless patience, their selfless motivation, tireless work ethic, and perseverance during those especially challenging times. Your commitment to your students, their families, your schools, and our school system are sincerely and deeply appreciated. Thank you for ensuring every student matters and every moment counts. At this time, I'd like to welcome Executive Director of Elementary Schools, Ms. Angele Babin, and Executive Director of Secondary Schools, Mr. Chris Kimball, to recognize those principals in attendance tonight.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Ortling and board members. It is an honor and privilege to recognize the principals in attendance this evening. Becky Mathern, New Sarpy. Lisa Perrin, Alamans. Dr. Tanisha Abden, Carver Early Learning Center and East Bank Head Start. Kelly Ortling, Lakewood. Shannon Diodne, Norco. Sam Bueller, Luling. And Shonda Harris, St. Rose.
We will recognize our secondary principals at this time. Those are in attendance. Mr. Harold Blood, R.K. Smith Middle School. Ms. Lasan Porter, Albert Cammon Middle School. Mr. Brian Lumore, Hanville High School. Mr. Jason Mydair, Destrehan High School. Ms. Vevelyn Adams, Landry Alternative Center. Thank you very much.
Thank you, principals, for everything you do for St. Charles Parish and your leadership. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a vote. Madam Secretary, National Principals Month Proclamation passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 3.01, Board and Superintendent Recognition.
Students. Hahnville High School student was chosen for the LMEA District 7 Honor Band and the LMEA All-State Honor Band, Cameron Cunningham. Hahnville High School students were chosen for the LMEA District 7 Honor Band. Joshua Anderson. Aaron Hicks. School system students were chosen for the Louisiana ACDA All-State Honor Choir. From Hornville High School, Aaron A. Ellis. Julian Grow. J.C. Grow. Misty Odom. Savannah Roussel. Adeline Saxton. From J.B. Martin Middle School, Addison Ogeron. R.K. Smith Middle School, J.C. Harris. Dominique Porsche. Hahnville High School students were named to the softball all-district team. Haley Beard. Kate Bruce. McKenna Cortez. Catherine Smith. Montana Smith. Employees. Hahnville High School employee was named the Softball District Coach of the Year, Jerry Nugent. You can stay right there, Coach. Teams. Hahnville High School softball team was the undefeated district champion. Coach Jerry Nugent and any softball team members, please come forward for the picture as well.
Yeah, on behalf of the board, I'd like to congratulate all the honor choir recipients tonight, the awards, and anybody who had an opportunity to go to the performance, honor choir performance last night. You know what we're talking about. Outstanding performances across the board, elementary, middle, and high school. So congratulations. Keep up the good work. Softball team, congratulations again. Y'all knocked it out the park. So we appreciate what y'all do. Appreciate bringing recognition to St. Charles Parish, and keep doing it. So at this time, we're going to take a 2-minute recess. For those that wish to leave, they do so, but you're certainly welcome to stay for the business portion of tonight's meeting. Okay, I'd like to call the St. Charles Parish Public School meeting for October 23rd back to order. We'll go into the business portion of tonight's meeting. The first item on the agenda is 4.01, minutes of September 10th, 2019 special school board insurance meeting, September 16th, 2019 committee meetings, September 18th, 2019 board meeting, and October 4th, 2019 board retreat meeting.
Mr. President, I move approval of all the minutes.
Got a motion by Mr. Robichaud. Do you have a second? Second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, minutes for the 4 previous meetings have been approved. Next item on the agenda is personnel, which is item 4.02. This agenda item reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal B of the board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the personnel items as presented to the board.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Savoy, second by Mrs. Bernard. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none, please cast your vote. Okay, item 4.02 passes. Next item on the agenda is 4.03, Policy 4.36, Maternity, Adoption, and Paternity Leave, first reading. Upon review of Board Policy and Procedure 4.36, Maternity and Adoption Leave, revisions were required. This agenda item reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal B of the Board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the maternity, adoption, and paternity leave policy for its first reading, 4.36.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Savoy, second by Mr. Robichaud. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, 4.03 passes. Item 4.04, Policy 5.16, Naming Facilities, first reading. Upon review of Board Policy 5.16, Naming New Facilities, revisions were required. This agenda item reviewed at the Personnel and Policy Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal B of the Board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve policy 5.16 for its first reading, the naming of facilities.
Motion by Mr. Savoy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Suffren. Any discussion, please? Hearing none, cast your vote. Yep, I got it. Madam Secretary, item 4.04 passes. Next item on the agenda, 4.05, Special Education Support Proposal. During the June 2019 Board Retreat, the Board identified a need to provide additional support for the special education program. To address this need, administration developed and presented a plan to provide additional support. This plan was presented to the Board at the September committee meeting and October Board Retreat. This item was reviewed at the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal A of the Board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move approval of the 2019-20 Special Education Support Proposal at a cost of $1,627,664.
Got a motion by Mrs. Bernard,
Second.
second by Mr. Suffren. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, please note for the record that that motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, 4.06, PreK expansion proposal. During the June 2019 Board Retreat, the Board identified a need to expand the PreK services offered in our school district. Additionally, at the July committee meeting and October Board Retreat, a proposal was presented to the Board for consideration of PreK services expansion. This agenda item reviewed at the Curriculum, Instruction, and Assessment Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal A of the Board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move approval of the PreK expansion proposal at a cost of $1,291,698.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Robichaud, second by Mr. Savoy. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, item 4.06 passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 4.07, purchase of school buses. In a continuing effort to upgrade the district's own bus fleet, the Transportation Department is requesting authorization to purchase buses, tongue-tied, to purchase buses for fiscal year 2019-2020. Under revised Louisiana Statute 38:321.1, additional procurement methods, State of Louisiana, and political subdivisions of the state, it is allowable to use bids within 1 year of the opening of the previous year bids. One 65-passenger bus equipped for transporting students with special needs, one bus equipped for to transport Head Start students, and 7 regular 65-passenger buses are being requested. Of the 7 regular 65-passenger buses, 3 of the buses are part of the PreK expansion and 3 are part of the Volkswagen grant program. This agenda item reviewed at the Transportation Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is along with Gold C of the Board Strategic Plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the purchase of one 65-passenger bus equipped for transporting students with special needs, one bus equipped to transport Head Start students, and 7 regular 65-passenger buses using the 2018 bus bid terms submitted by Kent Mitchell Bus Sales and Service Incorporated at a total cost of, net cost to the district of $601,404.95.
Second?
Got a motion by Mr. Suffren, second by Mrs. Bernard. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Okay, next item on the agenda is 4.08, lease purchase of school buses. In a continuing effort to upgrade the district-owned bus fleet, the Transportation Department is requesting authorization to purchase buses for fiscal year 2019-2020. Under revised Louisiana Statute 38:321.1, additional procurement methods, State of Louisiana and political subdivisions of the state, it is allowable to use bids within 1 year of the opening of the previous year's bids. 4 school buses are being requested through a lease purchase agreement. This agenda item reviewed at the Transportation Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Gold C of the Board's strategic plan. What's the Board's pleasure?
Mr. President, I move that we approve the purchase of 4 school buses through a lease purchase agreement using 2018 bus bid terms submitted by Kent Mitchell Bus Sales and Service Incorporated at a net cost to the district of $315,365.89.
Got a motion by Mr. Suffren,
Second.
second by Mr. Robichaux. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, that item passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, bid authorization request, Destrehan High School track replacement. Destrehan High School track replacement is an approved project of the 2019-2020 Long-Range Major Maintenance Capital Improvements Plan and the 2019 sales tax bond issue. The track at Destrehan High School has experienced significant deterioration over the last several years. The surface has exceeded its life expectancy and is no longer covered under warranty. The plans for replacement of the track have been completed by the engineer and are ready for bid. This agenda item reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the Board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is along with Gold D of the Board's strategic plan.
Move approval.
Got a motion by Mr. Robichaux,
Second.
second by Mr. Suffren. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, item 4.09 passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, 4.10, bid authorization request, Scheffner Elementary School HVAC replacement. Scheffner Elementary School HVAC replacement is an approved project of the 2019-2020 Long-Range Major Maintenance Capital Improvement Plan and the 2019 sales tax bond issue. The construction plans for the HVAC replacement have been completed by the engineer and are ready for bid. This item was reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the bid authorization request for the Scheffner Elementary School HVAC replacement.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Suffren, second by Mr. Robichaud. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, item 4.10 passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda, 4.11, bid authorization request, Luling Elementary Cafeteria structural beams, repair and replacement. Temporary repairs were made to cafeteria structural beams in May of 2019 due to termite damage. Monitoring has been ongoing. The plans for repair and replacement of the cafeteria structural beams have been completed by the engineer and are ready for bid. This agenda item reviewed at the Capital Improvements Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal D of the board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move we approve the bid authorization request for Luling Elementary School cafeteria structural beams, repair and replacement.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Oquin, second by Mrs. Bernard. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, item 4.11 passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 4.12, before and after school child care full-time benefited coordinator positions. The district administers a before and after care child care program at 6 sites. Each site is supervised by a coordinator who is paid based on the number of hours worked. The board wishes to create full-time benefited positions of these 6 coordinators. In order to cover the cost, it is necessary to raise the rates charged for morning care by $1 per child. This item was reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the creation of 6 full-time benefit coordinator positions for the before and after school child care program and increase the charge for morning care by $1 per child to cover those additional expenses.
Second. Effective date. Effective date.
Or effective January the 1st, 2020. I'm sorry.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Savoy. Mr. Smith, do you want to continue that second? Okay, got a second by Mr. Smith. Is there any discussion on this item?
No, to approve.
Hearing no discussion, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, item 4.12 passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is 4.13, accounts payable. Invoices and other financial obligations of the school district are customarily paid weekly. A request for approval of these transactions is normally made to the board monthly. The board must approve expenditures of public funds under its jurisdiction. This agenda item reviewed at the Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the board on Monday, October 21st, 2019, and is aligned with Goal C of the board's strategic plan.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the accounts payable for the month of September 2019 in the total amount of $2,260,054.29.
Got a motion by Mr. Suffren, second by Mr. Oquin. Any discussion? Hearing none, please cast your vote. Madam Secretary, item 4.13 passes unanimously. That concludes the business portion of tonight's meeting. At this time, any chair of any committee who would like to give a report, please do so.
Mr. President, the Curriculum Instruction and Assessment Committee met on Monday, October the 21st, 2019. We had 4 items on our agenda. 2 were for committee meeting only. Those were the high school scheduling update and the 2019-2020 accountability update. Then we had 2 items that were brought before the board table this evening: special education support proposal and the PreK expansion proposal, which were both approved earlier this evening. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mrs. Bernard.
Mr. President, the Transportation Committee met on Monday, October 21st, and covered 2 items. Both of those items came to the full board during this meeting and were approved. Those 2 items were the purchase of school buses and the lease purchase of school buses. Also, the Finance and Audit Committee met on Monday, October 21st, and we covered 5 items. 2 of the 5 items came to the full board during this meeting and were approved. Those 2 items were the before and after school child care full-time benefited coordinated positions and the accounts payable for the month of September 2019. The committee also discussed 3 other items. Overtime options for classified employees were discussed, effective immediately and going forward. Vacation days and holidays will be considered as time worked when calculating hours in excess of 40 hours worked per week to be paid at the overtime rate. This applies to classified employees who are eligible for overtime pay. The committee also received information from Ms. Teresa Brown, Administrator of Ancillary Services, regarding the USDA Southeast Commodities Processing Cooperative Agreement. Lastly, Meter Investment Management was selected as the investment firm to invest funds from the 2019 sales tax bond issuance in accordance with the Statement of Cash and Investment Management Guidelines until the funds are needed for the various projects. And that concludes my report.
Thank you for those 2 reports, Mr. Suffren.
Mr. President, the Policy and Personnel Committee met on Monday night and discussed 3 items. The personnel notes by Ms. Teresa Weber were presented to the board and also dealt with tonight. Policy 4.36 on maternity adoption and paternity leave for its first reading was adopted by the board tonight. And policy 5.16 for the naming of facilities was taken care of for its first reading tonight also. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Savoy.
Mr. Naki, I don't really have a report, but I would like to wish Mr. Oakwan a happy 49th birthday.
Happy birthday, Mr. Oakwan. Okay, Capital Improvements Committee met on Monday, the 21st. We had 3 items, each of which came to the board tonight. First item was bid authorization request for the Destrehan High School track replacement. Second was Ethel Scheffner Elementary School HVAC replacement. And the third was the Luling Elementary School cafeteria structural beam repair and replacement. All 3 of those items were approved at the board table tonight. Okay, and that concludes the board's report. At this time, I'd like to ask the superintendent if he would give his report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight, we have a video to share with you highlighting our 2019 quality profile. This document, produced each fall, provides our community with relevant data and information pertaining to the school system. As a complement to the 30-page quality profile, this year we've also created a new 1-page document called SCPPS at a Glance that gives an overview of our school system for easy reference. All St. Charles Parish residents will receive a postcard in the mail with information on how to view the 2019 quality profile. Let's take a look at the video.
St. Charles Parish Public Schools is proud to present its 2019 Quality Profile. The Quality Profile is a complete and transparent report on how the school system is performing in areas that matter most to our community. The Quality Profile contains data and information centered around aspects of our high-quality AAA school system, incorporating academics, athletics, and the arts. The document is aligned with our long-range strategic action plan that serves as a blueprint for the school system in preparing students to be future-ready. The first few pages of the Quality Profile showcase data and information pertaining to Goal A, student achievement and success. While test scores and achievement data are one indicator of success, they do not represent the whole child and what is most important to our community. Opportunities and access are a priority for our students. As you can see, there is truly something for everyone through the number of different clubs, organizations, arts, athletics, and extracurricular activities offered in our school system. A key part to our success is hiring the best and brightest employees who contribute to making a difference for every student at every moment. We're the largest employer in the parish and offer a competitive salary and benefits package. Along with our core business of teaching and learning and our commitment to hiring the best and the brightest, the quality profile also features information on operational effectiveness encompassing technology, finances, and support services. These, along with safe and supportive learning environments, play a crucial role in providing students with an optimal learning experience. Our support services and facilities are second to none. Safety and security is a top priority, and stakeholder engagement is essential for open and honest communication. For more information on these topics, awards, and initiatives moving forward, be sure to view our 2019 Quality Profile. The Quality Profile is available at www.stcharles.k12.la.us. To request a paper copy, contact the Public Information Department at 985-785-3104. We hope you find this report informative and beneficial.
Well, certainly, we'd like to thank the Public Information Department, Mr. Mason Dolphin, for creating such a wonderful video that highlights the quality profile as well, because quality profile truly represents what is most important for our community, and it's more than just test scores. So that quality profile truly points out the things that are most important to our community, and certainly is an indication of the success of this school system. So thank you, Public Information Department, for putting that together. At this time, I'd also like to mention our Pink Links for Breast Cancer has started. The health science team members at the Satellite Center have started their Pink Link project. The goal of this project is to educate the community as well as raise awareness and funds for breast cancer research. The team members are selling pink paper links for $1 as a way of raising the needed funds for this cause. As part of the fundraising process, team members from these courses set up a competition, of course, between the East Bank and the West Bank to see who will purchase the most links and therefore raise money for the breast cancer research. The amount raised and winner of the competition will be announced at the Destriana High School and Honville High School football game, which is hosted by Destriana High School this year, the Battle on the River on Friday, November 8th. So please go out and support this great cause. And finally, as a reminder, daylight savings time ends November 4th. Remember to set your clocks back an hour. Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Ortling.
Motion adjourned.
Got a motion by Mr. Robichaud. Second by Ms. Bernard. All those in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.